Hello, everyone, and welcome to this special journey we're taking together today. I'm thrilled to share a message that's close to my heart, crafted for each of you who's ever tasted the bitterness of life's setbacks. Those times when your soul feels weary and your hope dims. You know those times when everything feels heavy, your heart's tired, and you're just not sure how to keep going. I've got something to share that might sound a bit strange at first, but stick with me. It's got a big idea inside that can flip how you look at things. Have you ever seen someone fishing by a lake, pulling up a tiny fish and then just chucking it back in the water? It's kind of funny when you think about it, right? But it's a lot like what we do sometimes. We go after little things. Small, happy moments, quick wins, a good laugh, and then we let them go, not realizing they could add up to something bigger if we paid attention. I want you to think about your free time for a minute. Those are the hours or minutes when you're not at work, not running around doing chores, not stuck with stuff you have to do. What do you do with that time? If you can find something you like, something that feels good, something you'd stick with because it lifts you up, you're on your way to something great. It's not just about keeping busy. It's about using that time smart with a reason to make your days better and your life fuller. Let's start with a story to show what I mean. Picture a guy who got really rich and famous, not because he was lucky, but because he worked at it. Think of someone like a money expert who's known all over the world. A long time ago, someone smart, like his dad or an old teacher, told him something cool. Imagine a house stuffed with 1,000 pages of stuff to read. Don't worry about what those pages were exactly. Maybe letters, maybe lists, maybe notes. The point is, this guy loved finding things out. Every single day, he'd sit down and read a bunch, newspapers, reports, anything he could get his hands on. He wasn't born knowing everything. He got smart because he spent his quiet time digging into words and ideas. It was like he was saving up knowledge, putting a little bit away every day, like coins in a piggy bank. That habit, using his free time on purpose, helped him figure out stuff that surprised everyone. He made choices that changed things big time. What we can learn from him is pretty clear. If you pick something you care about and use your extra time to work on it, good stuff will happen. And I'm not just talking about reading or making money. It could be anything you enjoy, like planting flowers, fixing up an old car, or even drawing little sketches. If you keep doing it and get better bit by bit, you're heading towards something awesome. But here's where a lot of us trip up. We let that free time disappear. We get caught up in easy stuff like watching TV for hours, scrolling on our phones, or playing games that don't really matter. Those things might feel okay right then, but when they're over, you don't have much to show for it. You might even feel worse, like you missed out. I've been there plenty of times myself. I'd sit there flipping through videos or staring at my phone, and then later I'd think, man, I could have done something cool, and it hits you hard because every minute you let slip away is a minute you could have used to grow, to learn, to get closer to what you want. So let's talk about something simple you can do to fix that. Just think back on your day. Take a second to stop and ask yourself some easy questions. What did I like today? What didn't feel good? What could I try differently tomorrow? I've found that when I do that, when I start figuring myself out, you see what you really want, not just what you're settling for. And that's the first step to making things better. I know some of you might be thinking, this sounds nice, but it feels impossible for me. Maybe your job's rough, or you're fighting with people you love, or you're tired all the time, or you don't even like yourself much right now. It can feel like I'm asking too much when you're already down. Believe me, I get it. I felt that too. There've been days when I woke up and everything seemed too hard, like I was carrying a big rock on my back. But here's what I've learned. You don't have to fix everything at once. It's not about being perfect today. It's about taking one little step, going from where you are right now to just a tiny bit better tomorrow. That better doesn't have to be amazing. It's still something to be proud of. And those little steps, they pile up. Think of it like picking up sticks in your yard. You might not grab a big branch every time, but if you keep at it, grabbing one here, one there, you'll clear the whole place eventually. It's how it works with life too. Let's try a different way to see it. Imagine you open your fridge and look inside. Maybe all you've got is some cheese, a couple of eggs, and half an onion. Some people would groan and say, oh, there's nothing to eat. But other people, smart ones, would look at it and think, I can make something tasty with this. Even if it's not a big meal, it's enough to keep you going. That's how you should look at your life. Don't get mad about what you don't have. Look at what's right there and ask, what can I do with this? Your free time is like those eggs and cheese. It might not feel like a lot, but if you use it right, it can turn into something good. It's all about thinking differently, seeing the good in what you've got instead of wishing for more. Here's another thing to think about: spending time on yourself. These days, it's so easy to waste hours doing nothing much. Watching shows, looking at funny pictures online, or just sitting there. That stuff doesn't really help you. But if you turn it around, if you use your free time to try something new, like reading a story, practicing a hobby, or even just thinking quietly, you're setting yourself up for better days. I've seen it with my own eyes. People who keep learning and trying stuff always end up ahead of people who just sit back. And you don't need hours and hours. Just a little bit every day does the trick. Let's say you spend 10 minutes doing something you like. Maybe you practice kicking a soccer ball, or you try writing a short poem, or you learn a few words in a new language. In a year, that's a bunch of time you could get good at kicking goals, write a whole notebook of poems, or talk to someone far away in their language. It's not hard. It's just about starting small. Now, let's talk about something that can be tough. Figuring out what you really like to do. Sometimes it feels like nothing works. You try one thing, like painting, it's fun for a day, then boring. You try something else, like running, and it's the same deal. I've been there too. There were times I felt lost, like I'd never find something that stuck with me. But here's what I figured out. You have to keep trying. It's okay if it takes time. Test stuff out. Maybe you could try cooking, or making little toys out of wood, or taking pictures with a camera. After you try, think about it. Did it make you happy? Did it feel like a drag? Over time, you'll start noticing what keeps you going and what doesn't. For me, I tried a bunch of things: gardening, playing cards, even singing. And some flopped, but others clicked. When you find that one thing you do, even when you're tired, that's your gold. It's like finding your favorite food. You don't get sick of it and you want it all the time. But life's not always smooth, right? Some of you are dealing with big problems. Maybe you don't have enough money to pay bills, or your body hurts a lot, or you're arguing with people you care about. Maybe every day feels like a fight and you're just worn out. I hear you. I've been in those spots too. I remember a time when a buddy of mine hit rock bottom. He lost his job, he wasn't feeling good, and he didn't have anyone to talk to. He called me up one night, and I could hear how sad he was. He said, I don't know why I'm even here, everything's dark. I told him, hey, even when it's bad, you've got something left. Maybe it's just a minute to sit and breathe, or a chance to read something short, or a walk around the block. That little thing can start something new. It's about grabbing what you've got, even if it's small, because every tiny step makes you tougher. Let's talk about work too. Some of you are going hard all the time, working late, skipping sleep, forgetting to rest. I've done that. I'd push and push until I was empty. But here's the problem. If you never stop to take care of yourself, you're just surviving, not living. The best things, like feeling good or doing well, happen when you balance it out. Work hard, sure, but leave time to relax and think. Your free time isn't just a treat, it's what keeps you strong. It's where you get ideas, where you dream, where you start making tomorrow better. I learned that the hard way. I used to work so much I forgot what I even liked doing. One day, I stopped, sat down with a coffee and just thought, That break, it brought me back to myself. Here's something else to chew on. Every minute you spend on junk is a minute you don't spend growing. If you play on your phone for an hour every day, that's a ton of time in a year you could have used for something else. Maybe you could have learned to fix a bike or made a little garden or gotten strong lifting weights. I've seen people, smart people, lose that time and then wonder why they're not where they want to be. It's not fun to hear, but it's real. Your free time is what builds your future. You pick if it helps you or holds you back. Let me tell you a quick story from my life. A while back, I had a rough patch. Lost my job, wasn't sleeping, felt stuck. I'd sit there watching dumb stuff on TV, feeling worse every day. Then one afternoon, I grabbed an old notebook and started writing what I was thinking. Just little things. What went wrong, what I missed, what I could try. It wasn't much, but it felt good. The next day I did it again, and then I added something, picked up a cheap book from a yard sale and read a page. Slowly I started feeling like me again. It wasn't fast, but those little bits of time, writing, reading, pulled me out. That's what I want you to see. Even when it's bad, your free time can save you if you use it right. Here's one more picture for you. Imagine you're out by a pond with a net. You scoop up a little frog, not a big fish, just a frog, and some people would laugh and let it go, thinking it's not worth it. But every frog matters. If you keep it, you've got something. Every small thing you do, like learning a new trick, fixing a leaky faucet, or planting a seed, it's a frog in your net. You might not see it right away, but if you keep catching them, you've got a whole bunch after a while. That's how life works. Don't throw away the small stuff. It builds up into something big. So here's a tip. Every day, take a minute to think about what you did. What was fun, what wasn't? What could you do next time? I do that before bed sometimes, just sit with a cup of tea and go over my day. It's easy, and it helps me see what I'm doing right or wrong. It's not about being perfect, it's about getting a little better each time. If you stick with that, you'll start noticing your life changing, slow but sure. I know a lot of you are fighting tough battles. Money's tight, you're sick, your heart's hurting. It can feel like you're stuck in a hole with no way out, but even down there, you've got something, your free time. How you use it can pull you up. I'm not saying it's simple or quick. I'm saying if you take those minutes and do something with them, like learning, resting, or thinking, you're moving forward. It's like climbing a hill. One step at a time gets you to the top. Let me give you another example. My neighbor, she's older, and she had a hard year. Her knees hurt, she couldn't work, money was low. She started sitting on her porch every day, just watching the world. But then she got a little radio and listened to stories. Then she started knitting with some old yarn she found. It wasn't much, but it kept her going. She'd tell me, it's my little escape. Now she makes scarves for her grandkids. That's what free time can do. It doesn't fix everything, but it gives you something to hold on to. So, before I wrap up, ask yourself this. What am I going to do with my time? Will I let it slip away on stuff that doesn't matter? Or will I grab it and use it to make my life better? It's your choice. Every minute you've got is a chance to build something. Thanks for hanging out with me today. I hope this sticks with you and helps you see your free time is yours to shape. The best things don't come from one giant leap. They come from all the tiny steps you take every single day.